Sero International has been manufacturing a number of mind-blowing Gepard anti-materiel rifles since the 80s. It all started with the Hungarian military's request for an anti-materiel rifle that could destroy targets with light armor. Engineer Major Ferenc Földi got to the drawing sheet and designed some of the strongest weapons out there, one of which is the Gepard GM6 Lynx, whose single shot is said to be powerful enough to blast helicopters out of the sky. Welcome back to the US Marines channel. Let's get informed on the specs of the GM6 Lynx and determine just how formidable a weapon it is. As earlier stated, the GM6 Lynx is a Hungarian weapon belonging to a group of Gepard anti-materiel rifles whose design started in 1987. They come in a bullpup type and have been in service from the 90s till date. Preceding the GM6 Lynx are 5 other models, with the first and second having about 2 other variants each. Starting the batch was the M1, which boasted a stock skeleton to bring down its kilograms, as well as a long barrel which made the rifle more accurate. It was chambered for a really good cartridge, the 12.7 by 108mm, allowing the user to deliver a nice incendiary payload. The downside is that it weighs a lot, fires just a shot, and reloading is extremely tedious. Aside from the fact that mastering the reloading technique is time-consuming, its rate of fire was also low. These are, however, understandable, as the M1 was not intended for use on military grounds, but rather as a sniper weapon. The M2, on the other hand, was equally powerful, but worked as a semi-automatic rifle. It was chambered for the same cartridge as the M1, but has a lesser weight and a shorter barrel. And the M2A2 variant had a nice recoil system that allowed for hip firing. Despite being one of the strongest, Földi wasn't satisfied with the cartridge and so made plans for the M3, a version chambered for the 14.5 by 114mm cartridge. This made history for the Gepard line of rifles, as accompanying this cartridge was a high damage capacity, alongside a better range and accuracy, taking down radar stations, armored personnel carriers, and helicopters. Despite this achievement, the models didn't stop there. To improve the previous models, the M4 and M5 were developed. Weighing about 13 kilograms and working as a bolt-action weapon was the M5, but the M4 remained as a semi-automatic rifle. By changing the barrel, which is quite easy, they could work with NATO and Russian 12.7mm ammo. While the GM6 Lynx ends the Gepard line, it is in no way the least of all. Its design happened in 2009, and production started sometime in 2010. It has a barrel length of 73 centimeters and weighs about 11 kilograms. Although it employed the same 50 BMG and 12.7 by 108mm calibers, which can be used interchangeably by adjusting a few parts, it entered the market as the version with a better scope, lesser length, smaller weight, and stronger layers. It is a very safe action rifle with a long recoil system. After firing, the barrel travels back but then returns forward as the bolt locks. When the barrel is back in its position, the rifle chambers another cartridge as the bolt unlocks. Between this back and forth mechanism is enough time for the pressure in the chamber to get lowered, leaving just a small amount by the time the bolt releases. There's also a dust cover on its side which protects the ejection port. The ejection system of the GM6 Lynx is also unique in the sense that it doesn't pop off with pressure. Its spring sort of releases, and out is the case. It's not an ambidextrous rifle, and as such, can only be operated with the right hand. You can switch from fire to safe mode by pressing a circular button lined with red on the side of the rifle, and it comes out on the other side lined with white. Not expected in a 50 caliber rifle is the GM6 Lynx's compactness. While it's not all small in length, it can easily be handled without stress since it is less than 25 pounds in weight. More so, its length can be reduced by pulling the barrel backwards and locking it, leaving its transport out of the things to worry about. The GM6 Lynx boasts a 5-round magazine, single stack in fact, which makes it a lot easier to design than the double stack seen in most 50 calibers. It fires these rounds within 3 seconds. It has a nice muzzle device and a single chamber brake. By loosening the clamp on its side, the muzzle brake can get untightened, and energy generated from it allows the barrel to cycle more efficiently. So it can be adjusted depending on the bullet load, and that tuning will help lessen the recoil. Also interesting is the presence of a bipod and a rear monopod, which improves the stability of your shooting position. The bipod is latched on the receiver and can be released with a button, aligned into position and locked in place. The GM6 Lynx is one of a kind, given its perfect combo of the specs of anti-materiel, combat, and sniper rifles. In short, it is a multi-purpose weapon that can function effectively on air or land by independent or territorial military agents. It is capable of bringing down hovering helicopters, missile launchers, radio stations, buildings, and vehicles, you name it. It has an effective firing range of up to 200 meters with a muzzle velocity hitting 800 meters a second or more. And that value is about 5 to 8 times higher than what small combat arms have to offer. According to a member of the Special Forces, going to a war ground with a GM6 is like heading to combat with an artillery piece. With the large punch it provides, it's called the howitzer by the troops. The 4-feet rifle is that fantastic, they say. It is equipped enough to put down a truck bomb and could in seconds destroy a reasonable amount of opposition soldiers or helicopters up to 800 feet away. It is powerful enough to defile the integrity of an armor and cause an armored tank to explode on penetration. Its recoil is also significantly better than most 50 BMG, so it might take a while before the shooter's shoulder starts getting sore. More than 100 of the Gepard GM6 Lynx have been purchased by the Special Reconnaissance Regiment, the SBS, and the SAS. It was also said to have been employed by Iraq and Syrian military forces. More so, countries like Romania, Mali, India, Hungary, and Canada have equipped their armies with rifles quite similar to the Gepard GM6 Lynx. At this point, I'm sure we know enough not to doubt the capability of the GM6 Lynx or any of the Gepard models in fact. Their specifications pave the way for their uniqueness, and that must not be overlooked. Let's know what you think in the comments section and what improvements you believe can be made. If you find this video enticing, check out the next for another interesting piece.